On this episode of Speak Glow with Leanne and Moni, we've got an inspiring panel today of reps who've been in BP from 6 years all the way down to 2 months. We're going to talk about those challenges, but we're also going to talk about those triumphs and our bigger, grander vision. Hope you guys enjoy. Make sure you're following this podcast. Stay tuned for more episodes coming soon.
We're fizzers. I mean, let's just get down to it, right? Like we do that really weird thing where we take a cube and we put it in water and it gives you some jewelry. I don't know if you guys have been seeing these little bags that people like throw in front of the camera, and we also get these cubes out of drawers. I don't know. It's this really funny thing where you pick your size and the rest is a surprise, is pretty much what it is. And there's this fizzy cube. It goes like that. And you throw it in water and it fizzes and then a ring comes out and you could get a diamond. Okay. But here's the really funny thing about this, is that it's a business. Can you believe that? That's crazy, right? We party for a living is what they say. And this is a business. And for some reason, us crazy folks over here thought that sounds like a great idea. So Andrea found a fizzy live one day. And what did you think when you saw the live, Andrea?
So the first time that I stumbled into a live, gosh, was probably about a year ago, right around this time. Well, maybe, yeah, about this time last year. And I was intrigued. I was kind of like, what is this? And I was a silent watcher for a good month and a half before I ever even interacted with anybody on any live. I was relatively new to TT at that point, and had never posted anything, had never interacted at all other than just swiping and seeing videos that I liked. But when I started seeing some of the BP stuff, I was like, oh, this is kind of fun. And I just watched, like I said, silently for like a month and a half. And then there was a bigger fizzer, like one of the big people that I finally was like, I'm going to try this. And I placed an order, and I'm a teacher also. And so I was home on winter break, and it was a snow day. It was a snow day. And I was like, so we were stuck at the house and everything. And I was like, I was so excited. I placed this order, not like really fully understanding how everything worked at that point. And this big fizzer had like a lineup 30 people deep. And I was at the end. And I was like, oh, so I have to wait for like hours. Yes, that's what it was. It was like 4 hours. I was in and out all day. My kids playing in the snow, whatever. But finally it was my turn. I was like, yes. And then it was just all from there.
Oh my God. You waited in a 4-hour deep lineup.
And
you couldn't have found a little fizzer that had no lineup.
I didn't know.
That was me too. I didn't know either. I was like, oh, she's live. I want to buy jewelry. And then I was like, oh, 4 hours later, exactly. It's finally my turn.
It was so funny. And I was like, wait, how long? How long? And it takes how long to go through one reveal, And so, but she was super sweet. And I just kept going in and out all day long. I was like, is it my turn yet?
Wow. I mean, that kind of builds to, you said you were a silent watcher for how long before you actually purchased? A month?
About a month and a half. Yeah. Because I was like, I was nervous. I was nervous for a lot of reasons. I was nervous because I had never, ever interacted on a live before. I was just like, I don't know if I want to do that. But then also I was nervous because I was like, well, everybody has this moment of what if I don't like the jewelry I get?
Right.
And so as a new customer, that made me nervous. And I was like, but then I kept seeing more and more and more. And I was like, that's it. I'm doing it. and here we are now.
and here we are now. Now, after that first reveal, what went through your mind after the first reveal?
I remember, okay, so I just bought one ring. Actually, it's the one I always have sitting out on my tray.
Oh, let's see it.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, you have the one, your very first ring. Oh my God, please let's see it.
I gotta
That's
grab it. It's over
amazing.
here. I moved all my stuff around. This is this one right here.
Well, hello.
I know. So my first thought was that is something that I never would have purchased for myself, like in a store. But I was like, but I love the color. And so when it finally, it's kind of hard to see on the little box. There we go. But then I was like, well, it's like out of my comfort zone a little bit. But then I finally got it when it like actually got in my hands. I was like, oh, I can wear that. I can do that. Look at that. And I wore it a few times to work and everything. And people were like, oh, that's really pretty. And I was like, I know. And so, and then it just, went from there. But, yeah, that's one thing I really like about all of this too, is that it's gotten me to try new things, like in all different aspects. But like with the jewelry, a lot of the pieces that I have, like this necklace I'm wearing, would have never picked this out in the store. And I love it. Because I just didn't know how to accessorize, and I didn't know how to, I was afraid to try new things, because I was like, I don't think I can pull that off. But then when I'm like, oh, I revealed that. Okay. And then I'm like, yeah, I can pull that off, so it's gotten me to try new things in lots of different aspects.
Right. Awesome. I think it's, I try to think back personally about when I first saw it, because I wasn't on this platform when I first found it. I was on another platform that had lives, and I just remember, you're right. Like, I didn't know that there was more than just this one person that I had found. I guess that's the first thing. And I was like, this is weird kind of concept, but I was strangely fascinated, because who doesn't like surprises, and I quickly got the itch, let's just call it, to buy the next one, and then the next one. And the rings eventually grew on me, even though I had ones that I didn't think I felt that I liked. I did end up getting them in my hands, and I was like, wait a minute, just like how you said, you're like, oh. And then people are like, that's so beautiful. And you're like, yeah, it is. It is really beautiful. And you're like, yeah. And then I started to compare, for me, what I could find in the store versus the value of what I got from that item. And I started to see that the value of what I get through our company is so much more. Like, every other store I go to in person, they're okay, let's just say a stone falls out or something. A lot of times they're like, it's over 30 days. Like, you're out of luck. Like, oh, well, for you, it's not like this fine jewelry item where they're going to, and even fine jewelry, sometimes they'll say, no, sorry, it's been 60 days. Like, it's done. Your warranty's gone. Ours is 120 days. Like, that's out of this world. Now, they won't replace the exact item, right? So you're going to get another surprise, but you never know. It's like that surprise could be just, you could fall in love with it just as much, right? What did it take for you, Andrea, to like transition to that thought of customer over to, I want to be behind the camera? Like, what is it that happened with there?
So like I said, I was silent watcher, never posted one stinking video until I started doing this. I was one of those people that had literally nothing in their profile, and people probably thought I was a bot. but I ordered the one, and then there was another rep that I liked to watch also. So I ordered one from her, and by the time that second one got to my house, I was like, I think I want to try this, because it just looked like so much fun. Like, the people that I was watching were having so much fun doing it. And I was like, well, I want to have fun. And so, and I, as you know, I'm a full-time teacher. I'm a mom of 3. And I always say this, like, it's not that I didn't have a sense of purpose, because I did. Being a teacher and a mom 100% gives you a sense of purpose in what you're doing. And I love teaching, and I love being a mom, but I didn't have anything that was just like mine. And I was like, well, this looks, I mean, I started it more for like a hobby. Like I was like, this looks like so much fun. I want to do this. It looks like fun. And actually took a little convincing to get my husband on board. but once he was like, okay, whatever, just go do it, then fine, do it. And it has been not only a fun hobby for me, but it has turned into so much more. And I'm so glad that I took the leap. And this is so out of character for me because Moni, you mentioned earlier, like you're actually a pretty shy person. Like I'm very introverted normally. Like if I'm out in public, I was texting my cousin yesterday because I was like, I actually went shopping out in person. Like I went out into public, and because like I'm an introvert, and so doing this has gotten me to build a little more confidence in it. And so I'm so glad that I did it.
But I know in the beginning, you first started, you bought your kit, which let's start there. What kit did you choose? What did you choose?
I started with the 366 because I wanted to make sure, for me personally, I wanted to make sure that it was a good fit for me. And it's funny, Stina, who's down here in the corner over here, it's like Brady Bunch here, down here in the corner, Stina, she's my mentor. And I always joke, I'm like, I had literally 1,001 questions for her. And I'm sure she was like, this girl has so many questions. But I wanted to make sure that like, before I dropped a ton of money, that it was right for me, you know? And so I did the 366 kit, got all set up and everything. And then I was like, yes, this is right for me. And so then from there, I was able to invest a little more, but.
Okay. So that's a good point. So you're like, the fear was still there, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And then you're like, okay, I took the leap. I'm ready. Okay. But that little fear person didn't go away. Right. And then what jump-started your commitment? What is it that jump-started that commitment? Because I think for me, it was that secret sauce was the word commitment. I don't know about you, but in my daily life before this, I am not so much like, I love change. I just love, that's just who I am. I'm happy. I'm happy to commit to like a schedule, but make me commit to a food for the rest of my life. No, thank you. Right. Make me commit to, certain things for the rest of my life. Not so sure. So what jump-started that commitment for you that, yeah, this is the thing. Like, this is my place. I'm going to put more money in.
Once sorry. I would say probably. I'm sorry. Let me turn that down. But once, probably like a month and a half in, I started getting some regular people who were coming in. I started finding
thank you.
And it's okay, Jonathan. No, I love it. Thank you. But no, I started finding my people and started building that community and people like returning and coming back. And it took a while for that to happen. But once it started and it started becoming more often, I was like, look at this. We're building a little group of like friends here, people that I would have never been able to interact with or even meet because they live all over the country or all over the world. In some cases, I've got some people who come in from other countries that, periodically will come in. And when that started happening, I was like, okay, yeah, this is it. Because my whole thing, and I don't know if this is just the teacher in me or just whatever, but my whole thing was like, I wanted my space to be for anybody, whether you were purchasing jewelry or not. And I wanted it to be a positive, just safe space for anybody. And so when it started really turning into that, and then those people have become some of my best customers, from there, I was like, and this is what I'm supposed to do.
Let's jump into customers real quick. Lee, do you have a question? Do you want to jump in here?
No, I don't have a question.
Okay.
I'm just trying to, all these bings and things like that, trying to get a handle on it.
Oh, thank you so much for those of you who are,
I appreciate them.
Those of you who are throwing those Life Fest gifts, we really appreciate it. We want to get this message.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Yeah, we want to get this message out to as many people. And if
anybody has any questions, drop them in the chat, guys. So we're going to ask questions, but you guys are welcome to ask questions of us as well.
Yeah, if you guys are like, I want to ask her a question, I want to ask her a question, go ahead and throw your questions in there. Any of us can see your questions. We'll ask them. It's not a problem. We'll answer them. This is really a free platform. We're just chatting here, chatting all things BP, all the things. Okay, all the things. Okay, so I was just about to ask something. You finished off on. Can you remind me what we were just talking about? Because I got thrown off. Yes.
Customers.
Oh, customers. Okay. Because you were saying the customers and the community is really what brought you to say, okay, I'm going to commit. This is something that I want to do. I want to commit further financially with my time, my energy, my things, right? Let's get real and talk about customers for a minute, right? What has been your best way to be able to engage with them? What has made that magic sauce for you to say, this person is my friend, this person is engaging with me, this person is amazing, and I'm so thankful that they're here? Like, what is your way of connecting in your business?
I would say, well, when we're live, when I'm live, we end up just oftentimes, I'm on an open lineup a lot. I still consider myself kind of a baby fizzer. So we're on an open lineup a lot. And so, thanks, Mammy. But we're on an open lineup a lot. And so oftentimes we'll play trivia or we'll just chat and honestly just like get to know each other, make those connections, and have found a lot of other moms, a lot of other teachers, a lot of other people who are just like me. And so once, and like, that's how we made those first connections. And then from there, content is huge. I'm still not the best at content and kind of trying to work my way through that. But like trying to like figure out like what content they want to see, what content I want to put out, and kind of like finding how that all meshes, you know? But like I was saying earlier, when we were on our Zoom, I think it was on Zoom. I can't remember, but
yeah, we were on a training. Yeah, we were on a training.
I don't remember where I was.
Yeah.
But the one with my, like I posted just the other day about a dress. I'm going to a party in a couple of weeks and I was looking for a new dress and I was like, I don't like any of these. And I was like, what do you guys think? And I posted a video with my dresses. And that, thanks, Mammy. Kaylee, thank you. But I posted that and that got the most interaction, engagement that I've ever had on like, I think any video, honestly. And so just finding those ways to like connect, it had nothing to do with jewelry. It was all about a dress and how I didn't like any of them. And so just making those connections that way, just like everyday things, you know, things that I maybe thought, no one's going to care what dress I'm wearing. But then here we go with like 40 some comments and, you know, like I've never had 40 comments on a video. So like that kind of stuff.
You're just being you. You're just being you and bringing everyone into your daily life.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's such a good point, right, Lee? Like I want to say for me, myself, sometimes bringing people into the mundane, right? Mm-hmm. Into the things that, like you said, you didn't think that it would matter what you wear, but all of a sudden there's 40 people engaging with what you're wearing, right? I think that's one thing that I tend to have to try to remind me, like, okay, maybe I don't think it's interesting, like what protein shake I'm going to drink this morning. Right. Right. And then suddenly everybody wants to know, wait, you know, what are you drinking? Why are you doing that? Like, who are you? And wait a minute, you also sell jewelry? Oh, okay, cool. I like who you are. I want to come and I want to hang out with you. I want to know who you are. I love that so much. I love that so much. Now, something that I think I always think about is when you're new, there's these moments where you might feel like I want to give up. Does that ever happen to you?
There's been a handful of times where I've had ups and downs. A handful of times where I'm like, I feel like I'm just stuck. Like I've plateaued, I'm stuck, and nothing's working. And that's when, there was, I think it was I don't know. I think I'd just gone back to school or something. It was like at the early school year or something like that. And I was like, I'm just in a funk. And I think I told Stina that. I put it in our homestead chat. I'm like, I am just like I'm not in the mood. And I still was showing up, but I was kind of just half-assing it. And that's when you just kind of lean into your team and
Made her goal higher.
I didn't make my goal higher. Did I? I didn't do anything.
No, Lee did. Lee did.
Oh, Lee, I was like, I didn't do anything. But anyway, it's just like definitely have had those moments. But like I said, it's when you kind of lean into your team and just let them be there to be your biggest supporter. And that has really, and like, I came out of the funk, obviously, but it happens, and everybody kind of goes through that. And I think when you're new, especially, because sometimes it takes a long time. It takes a long time to build up. It takes a long time to get on the right side of the algorithm. It takes a long time to build your customer base. And you really have to be patient. And I am not a patient person. And so I don't think many of us are. And so when I wasn't hitting some of the goals I was wanting to hit as quickly as I wanted to, you just kind of have to take a step back and go. And like Stina's so great. She'd be like, okay, so, but like, what are the small wins? Like, oh, I had so many new followers on my last live. Maybe I didn't sell anything, but I had 5 new people follow me, or like that kind of stuff. And just looking at like, what were some of those positives? Don't get stuck on, I didn't sell anything. That's okay. And I always stress in my lives, like, it's okay if you don't want to buy anything. You're welcome to hang out here anyway. Like, we're just having fun. And so just, working through that, kind of reminding yourself, it's okay. It takes time, just like anything else. When you're built, like any other business that you'd be starting, it takes time. So you'll get there. You got to be patient and you got to be consistent. So,
I like the mindset. And I think that's something really great that our leader, Miss Ashley, who just popped in and gave us her beautiful presence. She always talks about mindset. And LC just asked a really great question. She said, hey, ladies, what have been your biggest struggles when you have first started out? And you know what? I want to jump in. I'm so grateful, Andrea, that you're here. And we're going to get back to asking you more questions in a minute. But I want to see if, Robin, are you able to jump on and answer this question real quick, because Miss Robin just started. Miss Robin literally just started. Has there been one thing that has been your biggest struggle for just starting out? And then maybe Ashley can comment on what that biggest struggle has been. I don't know. If you can just share your voice, you don't have to share your video, Miss Robin. What has been your biggest struggle for first starting? Because you just started. I don't know if she can unmute. I think she has to unmute herself. Are you there? Are you there, Robin? Well, if not, it's okay. We'll jump to Stina.
Perfection. So I'm assuming she means everything has to be perfect before you even. Oh, thank you.
Perfection. Got it.
Yeah, perfection. Oh, yeah. I would agree with that. That would be one of my top struggles. Is the room has to be perfect. I have to be in the perfect mood. My house has to be this way. Everything, the stars have to align magically, and then my content has to be perfect, or I'm not going to post it. As Ashley says, messy action. It's better to have messy action than no action.
Awesome. Ashley, are you there? You want to jump on?
Hello. Sorry, guys.
Do you want to talk about customer growing and the perfection aspect of this? Like for somebody who's just starting, like what are your thoughts there, Miss Beautiful Ashley?
Yeah. Can you guys hear me?
Yes. We sure can.
My voice is still scratchy. I'm still getting over this like sickness, but Leanne said it best. I was like throwing a little celebration over here when she said messy action is better than no action, because that's really what it's about. If you are always chasing perfection, you are going to never be happy with your results. You need to chase progress over perfection. And you also have to know that this is something that takes time, just as I like to compare it to if you were to go to college to be a teacher or a brain surgeon or a lawyer or anything else like that, right? The day that you walk into school, or the day that you decide this is going to be your career path, right? That's not the day that they hand you the scalpel and say, "Hey, here you go. Go and operate on a brain," right? No, you have to learn. You have to go through the flows. They don't just put a scalpel in your hand and say, "Here you go." The best thing about doing with something like this with BP is that you get to earn while you learn, and you get to learn from your failures more. So I remember my very first lives that I did, they were a mess. They were so messy. But then you learn along the way. You learn how you need to adjust your lighting. You learn how you need to decorate your space. You learn your customers. When you're first getting on social media to build your platform, that's really what it's about. Is you have to learn how to grow your customer base, and you really have to be focused on connections and community first, and then everything else will follow.
Thank you so much, Ashley. I really think that has been one of the biggest hurdles, I think, for any fizzer, right? Anybody who wants to jump into any business, though, not just what we do, but in general. It's getting that mindset and also realizing that it takes time. And customer acquisition isn't just about, oh my gosh, I need them to buy from me. I need them to buy from me. How about what is it that you can connect with them, as Ms. Ashley just shared? How can we connect, right? And I want to jump over real quick because I want to give a little bit of kudos here, and I'm sure she's going to think that she doesn't deserve it. But I really have been inspired recently by someone named Stina Prater, okay? She inspires me all the time, and her messy action, which she always says, "I'm a hot mess mom." Her messy action is showing results, okay? And Stina, I want to jump into how has it been? You've had since August, some messy action going on. And do you want to share anything that you've learned?
Well, first, can you hear me? Because my connection is really bad.
Yeah, we can definitely hear you.
Okay, so I would have to say that like you said, I don't think I deserve it, and the fact that you guys always say that I inspire you guys, it makes me really emotional, to be honest. But I am a people pleaser. I'm a perfectionist. I always want to make sure that everyone around me is being successful, and if they're not, I take it very personal. And over the last few months, when Moni challenged me for content and lives, and I sat back and I was like, there's no way I can do this. I finally just changed my mindset, and I was like, you know what? I have to do this. I have to do this in order to get to where I know that I want to be, where I desire to be, where I deserve to be. And that was something that was really, really hard for me to make that switch. But as soon as I did, I went away from caring what people thought about me. I was like, you know what? I've had the most success when I've shown up and just been 100% authentically myself, whether it's good, bad, ugly, messy, pretty. I try to be very organized, and life does not allow me to be organized sometimes because life is messy. And I've just learned to roll with that and share that with people. And that's brought more people to my community and into my life than I ever dreamed possible. Just from showing up and being 100% authentically my hot mess mom self. And letting people know it's okay. I can still be an unorganized mom, and I can still have a messy house, and I can still work on my house and work on my health, and I can build this business, I can build a community, and I can connect with people all while doing it without having to be this person that I think I have to be. And that was really hard. I've always grew up thinking people aren't going to connect with me or want to talk with me if I do this, this, and that. And now I'm just like, this is me, you guys. I can't fake it. I can't pretend to be someone I'm not. And if it's not for you, I've learned the great thing, especially about TT that we're on, is if they don't like it, they scroll.
Yep.
Goodbye. And it's gone. And that is something that I'm like, you know what? I just ran with it. And that I encourage everyone to just be yourself, whether you are that shy, quiet person, your people are out there. If you're big and bubbly and loud, your people are there. If you have a hot mess, messy life, your people are there that want to own it with you. If you are a little bit more organized, your people are there, and you're also going to inspire a lot more people to maybe get organized. Like, that's the craziest thing, is especially over the last few months of posting the content and going live as much as I have, is the amount of outreach and pour of people that are just like, Stina, you've inspired me to do this. Stina, you've inspired me to do this. And it's just this list of people that just keep coming to me. And I just sit here and I'm like, I'm this hot mess mom in Montana. Like, everyone thinks we still have horse and buggy here. Like, I don't see what other people see, but over the last few months, like, I'm slowly starting to see what people are starting to see. And that's like the biggest thing for me, is being able to like hear what people say and still have that little bit of, oh, I don't know if that's true. And then I sit back and reflect on it, and I'm like, no, they're helping me see a side of myself that I have not seen, just by me showing up and being myself. Admitting when things are a little bit crazy, I'm not the most organized or whatever it might be, people show up and they love you for it. And I wouldn't have it any other way, honestly. But our community, exactly. That's what everyone has to do, is just be you. People are going to love you for you. And that is out of a lot of people's comfort zones because of how the world is nowadays. But this is an opportunity that not only inspires you when you take the opportunity and start building a business, but just being involved as being in someone's live. You don't have to reveal. You don't have to be a fizzer. If you are just a part of a live, this whole entire thing is inspiring and taking people out of their comfort zones and encouraging people that however this world, however, you know, what is happening in the world expects us to be, we don't have to be that way. And that's why, like, for me, it's connection, it's growth, and it's reveal. Like, that's my motto for my business, is connect, grow, reveal. And as you hear in that, revealing is very last, because it might be the business, but the connections and the growth that we all go through are in a way more important than the reveal is, because then it all connects together.
Oh my goodness. That is amazing.
Asked our biggest accomplishments since becoming a rep. You want to start with it, Moni?
Well, you know what? I'm going to start with the people first, right? Because let's just go where Stina said, you know, connect, grow, and then reveal. So one of my biggest accomplishments, I'm going to be honest, has been feeling like I am connecting with people beyond my little tiny life that I feel like I live. I have had moments where I just feel overwhelmed with tears of joy, because like Stina said, you suddenly hear that you're inspiring people. Like, Stina told me that I inspire her, and that made me like be like, well, who am I? I'm just this 45-year-old struggling with what I'm struggling with. You know, we all have struggles, right? Like, what are my struggles worth any more than your struggles? Like, I'm no different than you. You know, I'm a speech teacher full time. It seems that a lot of nurses and teachers do end up becoming fizzers. I want to say that. I have come upon that, or stay at home moms, which is a thing, right? Because we all, I think, in some way or another, are seeking connection, right? We're all seeking that kind of connection beyond what we have, something more than, right? But I think for me, that's been my biggest. My biggest has been feeling seen and connecting to helping others feel seen, you know, helping other people realize that they're just as important, they're just as worthy, they're just as beautiful. Because I'm not alone. Like, I'm not alone, and they're not alone. And so why not, let's just all be a hot mess in a room, not alone, you know? So I think that that's been one of my biggest accomplishments. And then on the other side of things, I haven't given up. I haven't given up. right? I keep showing up every single flipping day. It is 4 years later. I started in October 2020. October 2020. And I'll tell you, have I taken hiatuses? Yes, ma'am. I sure have. I sure have taken a little bit of a hiatus. I'm going to let you guys have an opportunity to answer this question. And then I want to scroll back over to Stina with a particular question about this roller coaster of a journey. But let's see. How about you, Andrea? What's been your biggest accomplishment?
Like what you said, just building those connections and building a community of people that we click and we have fun. I think for with that connection piece for myself as well, just personal growth in terms of building confidence in myself and that I can do this, because when I have never run a business before ever. And so I was nervous. I was more nervous about that than anything else. Like, I've never done a business before. I don't want to screw it up, like that kind of thing. And just being, I guess, proud of myself for sticking with it and like, it's working. And I did that, so just that growth piece of it.
Yeah, growth is really huge. How about you, Lee?
So we're not going to talk money or anything like that. I'm going to have to go with my biggest accomplishment is just having the self-confidence to not always put myself last. I'll put my kids first. I'll put my husband first. And I'm not saying that that's always a bad thing, but just really having the confidence to be like, you know what, it's okay to take a breather and let mom be mom a moment and have something for me. And just the things that I've done with my business is having just, because I will tell you guys, I am 1000% an introvert. You would not see me going to conference before this. You would not see me on these calls. Just having that, Leanne, you can do it, to kind of like that confidence to push myself to keep going, to see that bigger vision and that goal. And so that's really going to be mine, is just building that. I got a long ways to go with my confidence, I'll tell you right now, but just the confidence that I can start getting out of my shell and being okay with the uncomfortableness, because I will tell you that I just want to crawl in a hole and not be not seen. That's 100% where I would be 5 years ago.
Yes. What about you, Stina?
I have, yeah.
I had to unmute. I would, besides like the confidence and everything, for me, I'd say my biggest accomplishment would be like my own self-love, to be honest, because I don't have a lot of self-confidence, or I didn't, because it's getting better. But this has made me not only gain confidence, but like the desire to be better to myself. Like, I want to be healthier for myself. I want to have a better mindset. I have on my goal board that I don't want any more self-sabotage. I want that mindset of possibility and gratitude and growth and potential and grace and understanding, like giving that more to myself, because I do that for everybody else. I'm always so like, I understand, it's okay, like I get it, it's normal, but I don't do that for myself as much as I do for everybody else. So for me, besides the confidence building and everything else that comes with it, it's just the amount of self-love I've gained for myself that has allowed me to set boundaries in my life and in my business that help me succeed. And it's made it like, I used to always be like, oh, I can't do that for myself. And now I'm like, forget that. Like, this is not bringing value to my life. Bye. Like, I deserve better than that. And I've never been that person. And I've lost a lot of people after doing that. And I just sit back and I'm like, I don't care. Like, I deserve so much. And I would not be that way if I didn't start a business and have ups and downs and just have this desire to like, no, I'm going to prove people wrong because I deserve this. That's probably the biggest thing for me, is just that self-love of, this is for me, and that I get to help people in the process that come to me and they're like, oh, Stina, you inspired me. I'm like, no, it's you guys are doing it. Like, everyone's like, oh my gosh, you sold out, congrats. I'm like, I'm just a pretty face, like revealing it. Like, you guys are making me feel so good. That's the biggest accomplishment I could ever ask for.
That's amazing. And we have a really newbie in here with Dazzling HD Fizz. Okay. This is Miss Robin. And I think Miss Robin has a really great perspective. She just started like literally like a month. Okay. We're talking beginning baby. And I know, Robin, you're typing in the chat. So if you want to just type in the chat something that you feel has been a great accomplishment since you started. We all know that we start in a place that can be scary. We all know that we start in a place that's new. We all know that we start in a place maybe of a lower confidence. We all know we start in a place with zero like followers, zero people, zero, whatever, and we feel zero, right? But I know that along the way, like what Stina says to Andrea all the time, what have you been successful at? What have you felt? Robin, what has been your biggest accomplishment up until this point that you want to type in the chat and share with us where you feel like, man, I did that thing. I did it.
Showing up even when she didn't want to. Amen.
Oh my God.
Amen.
Winner, chicken dinner. Can we say that? Yes. How many people can say that they had to show up when they didn't want to?
Yes, you have to.
Mm-hmm. I think that goes beyond just our business, right? That goes into life, right? Man, do I not want to get out of bed and go to work today? Man, do I really want to go and do XYZ or just stay right here? Like, that is just about mindset and choice, right? Mindset and choice. You make a desire for an action and then you take the action. It leads you into what I call the 5-second method. And if any of you guys have not heard of the 5-second method, I really challenge you to go check it out. Okay. Because for me, I'm a procrastinator. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm a procrastinator and I need this 5-second method. It's basically about taking action within the first 5 seconds of deciding that you need to do something and not taking action exactly on that specific thing, but taking action of the movement of body towards that desire, moving your body and actually physically getting up and getting going. Now I'm going to get a little answer from the birdie of Miss Ashley. Now, Miss Ashley has been around a little bit longer than all of us. And it's so easy. Our diamond leaders always get a hard time because people think, you don't get me. You don't understand. What do you got to say about that? Well,
you guys get me in my hot mess glory today. We're like, this is sick, half in bed, Ashley. But I jumped out of bed.
What's been your biggest accomplishment? What has it been?
I know, right? So, okay, what question did you want me to answer for you?
What has been your biggest accomplishment since starting this thing? You've accomplished a lot, right? People are thinking you got everything, right? They're thinking you got it all figured out over there, little lady. But here's the truth. Let's get down to the nitty gritty. What has been your biggest accomplishment? What do you see at this point? And let's add on to that. What growth are you still looking for? What are you still searching? What's your desire beyond that?
So this is something that I've had to dig deeper in because I think the growth part is something I've had to dig deeper in. And I always believe that we have to coach from experience. So I always lead and coach our team through my experience. And I feel like if we don't have the struggles and if we don't have the failures and we don't have the challenges, we can't coach from an empowered place and help people more, right? So my biggest growth right now is rebuilding my own personal business because I have over the last couple of years, I put so much time, effort, and energy into our team continuously, right? Because a lot of people think that this business just is when we're live. It's not, especially when you have a larger team. You're still working. I work it as a full-time job, right? So 6 to 8 hours a day, I'm still working. A lot of it's behind the scenes. So right now, my biggest growth is going to be rebuilding my personal business again, rebuilding my lives, rebuilding my customer base, rebuilding my sales, rebuilding all of that stuff. I always say when you are winning in one area, it usually means that you're failing in another area. So while I've won a lot within business and team and different accomplishments, there's a lot of stuff that's fallen on the wayside at home, right? And there's a lot of stuff that's fallen wayside in my own personal business. So that is where my growth is, just being a better person, being a better mom, being a better wife, being a better, and being a better personal business owner, right? I'm doing more for my own personal business. And that doesn't mean that the team goes to the wayside. It never means that. It just means finding the flow in it all. And I really think that the Rise Up to Rank Up has helped tremendously with that. So you guys have been doing amazing with all of that. Biggest accomplishments, I have a couple, and none of them are monetary. Now, I will say that I'm grateful that this is my full-time career now, but when I look at the bigger picture, my greatest accomplishments are not monetary. They go much deeper than that. So one of my biggest accomplishments is our team and changing people's lives every single day. I've seen the growth from Stina. I've seen the growth from Leanne. I've seen the growth from Moni and Andrea, and that stuff. Those are things that I'm sick, so I'm like even more emotional. But those are things when you see these changes and confidence within people and people doing more for themselves that they didn't think that they would be able to do. That's really, really, really powerful. And that's what it is. It's about the people that we're serving and the people that we're helping along the way. I always say I don't take credit for your failures, so I won't take credit for your successes. None of it. Some people will say, oh my gosh, Ashley, if it wasn't for you, no. If it wasn't for you, I just hand you guys the keys and I'm a tool in your journey, and I'm grateful for that. And then my next accomplishment is my kids, because when you're a mom, you're a parent, your kids are watching everything that you do, everything that you do. And I was so lost as a stay-at-home mom 6 years ago. I was so lost as a stay-at-home mom. I didn't feel like I had purpose. I wasn't passionate really about anything. I say it all the time. I feel like all I was the snack bitch. And I always was encouraging my kids to follow their dreams, follow their desires. But mom was not doing that. So how can I encourage my kids to do something that I wasn't doing myself? So my oldest just graduated high school. And my oldest, on his graduation day, gave me his diploma because he said, Mom, if it wasn't for you busting your ass and getting through the challenges, I never would have gotten through it myself. So he's like, this is for you. And he gave me his diploma. And that's been my biggest thing, too, is champions are created through challenges, right? Like, that's what it is. I say that to everyone all the time. Champions are created through challenges, and you're not going to get to the championship if you don't go through challenges. So those are my greatest accomplishments through all of this. There's so many more, but I feel like those are the main ones, definitely.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for sharing that, Miss Ashley. And that leads me back to something, Miss Stina, I just want to jump on this little train of, yes, we feel these accomplishments. Yes, we get this bigger boost of confidence. Yes, we can land in these really great places, right? But sometimes things don't go that way, right? Sometimes things really don't go the way that we plan, the way that we want to. Sometimes things can go the opposite direction, and then we have to recommit and refine our desire and refine our commitment. What happened, Stina? Did something happen along your journey that you want to share? And if you feel comfortable.
I don't even know where to start because I've been doing this for 2.5 years, and I've had more than multiple times where it has just gone by the wayside, and I've sat and been like, well, there it all went. And then I've had to sit back and be like, am I going to rebuild it or am I going to call it quits? And it's always been, I'm going to rebuild it because I'm looking at the big picture. My husband is one of the biggest naysayers, but he's also like one of my biggest supporters all at the same time. It's like this really weird, like dynamic. I found VP 2.5 years ago, when I was recovering from a near-death experience, and I was in a terrible headspace. I mean, that was probably my lowest of lows at that point. As much as I love my husband and I love my children, just nothing brought me joy, nothing. And I was miserable at my job, and my husband was like, "You are miserable to be around." And when I found BP, it brought me so much joy, like emotional joy, where I love this so much, just being a part of Alive. And then I started revealing hundreds of dollars because I couldn't stop, because the joy felt so amazing. And so I reached out to a rep. I got all the information. I talked to my husband. He looked at me and said, "Don't fail." And that's been something that's been really hard in the 2.5 years, because I see failure different than my husband does. And so there's been multiple times in my journey where my husband and I have sat down and he's been like, "Well, you failed." And that hurts. And I'm like, "Well, I mean, you're not wrong, but that's why I had to change my mindset, that it's never a failure. It's always a lesson. I'm going to come back stronger." But I also like, is the one person that, I want to prove him wrong, but I also like want him to see and be proud of what I've done. And over the 2.5 years, like, I don't really feel like that's really ever happened until like recently, where everyone's like joking around in my lives now that like his name is Trash Panda on here, and he's being spotted more. His face will come into my live. He'll stand in my live. And that hasn't happened in the 2.5 years. But that right there, he might not make the connection. Like, that to me is that little bit of pride. Like, he's seeing it because he's inserting himself into it, and he wants to be inserted into it because there's success there. When there's not success there, people don't insert themselves into that as much. And so I've had points where, when at the beginning of this year, my team grew by like 7 people. It was insane. I was just like, all these people are coming to me. They're wanting to do this. And I felt like I had to live up to a bunch. And I was on my phone all the time, and I'm posting content and reaching out to people. And my husband said, "You're on your phone all the time." And so I stopped going on my phone, and my business tanked. And so then I had to rebuild again, and I go to convention, I have this whole high, and then I come back from convention and I have vacation after vacation, and I'm like, I can't put the time into, and then it's like, I have to rebuild again. So between words from my husband or situations happening in life, it's totally tanked. And I had to really sit back this time and be like, I'm not letting that happen. It was every single time it got into my head. And now I stop myself. Like, even Moni's asked me a question. She's like, "Well, why can't you go live at like 5 a.m?" And I'll be like, "Well, my husband," I was like, "Wait, I don't want to make up excuses." Like, I catch myself because I don't want to be caught into this making up excuses or in this negative mindset. I catch myself more when I get negative. And so, long story short, throughout my whole journey, I've had super big highs, and then I've tanked back down. I've had super big highs. It's been a roller coaster. And over, since August, when we started this Rise Up to Rank Up, and Moni like said to me, "How bad do you want it?" And I was like, "Girl, please, like, who asked that kind of question?" Bye, Andrea. I had to challenge myself even more, because as I tell everyone that comes into my lives, as I tell people on my team, that this journey is yours. You are 100% this journey. We can't tell you how to do it. We can't tell you that things are good. We can't tell you that things are bad. Like, it is 100% your journey. And that's the hardest thing, because when it is your journey, you yourself affect it more than anything else around it. And I think that's really hard for us to like realize and admit. That's what I had to do, because I was always making up excuses around me. This is happening, this is happening, this is happening, until Ashley was like, "Well, those are just details. What are you going to do about it?" Because I had a point like a year ago around this time, I didn't work my business for 2 months. And I was just in a negative headspace. And Ashley reached out to me, and she's like, "Well, what's going on?" And I gave her this whole list. And she's like, "I'm so sorry going through that. Like, I understand you're going through it." And she said to me, "Well, what are you going to do about it?" And I was like, "Wait, what?" Because it takes just that little bit of like, you're in control of how you respond to this. It's just, but for a lot of us, we're just like, this is happening, this is happening. So instead of taking those excuses, I had to change it to, now that's my motivator. Now that's just one more thing I'm putting into my box of, well, this is happening. I don't want it to happen anymore. So I got to pick myself up and get better. this is happening. I don't want that to happen. How do I control it from not happening again? So that's kind of like the big long loop of, I've had plenty of things happen and I just had to sit back and be like, nope, I want it. This is what I'm going to do. This is just a detail. It's never a failure. It's always a lesson, and putting those together. And I still sit back sometimes because I had goals I wanted to hit before convention of this year. I didn't hit them. And then I had goals I wanted to hit before the end of October. I didn't hit them. And so I had to sit back and be like, I have to celebrate the small wins on the way, and accept that, you know what, there is a reason I'm not hitting that goal yet. I had to sit back and accept that too, because that's hard, because we're like, we're working so hard, we're doing everything we're supposed to be doing, and it's still not happening. Why is it not happening? Because that's not where your journey is leading you right now. And I will sit there and I will work my business every day and be like, well, I'm doing this. Why isn't it kicked off yet? And I have to tell myself, it's not my time yet. And when it is my time, it is going to come in hot. My time is going to hit, and it's going to hit hard. And that's the biggest thing too, is that you set, fell short or goes, yeah, it's hard. But at the same time, that's why we have all those small wins leading up to them. We have to celebrate those small ones on the way up to it. And that's the roller coaster I've been through, where I've been really good at it and then I haven't been. And I have to sit back and be like, okay, what was working? Okay, I need to keep doing that. Oh, this isn't working. Get that out of here. And that's some of the hardest things throughout the whole, because I feel like I've disappointed not only myself, but those around me. And I've had to be like, nope, I'm up for the challenge. No more disappointment. It's just, we're learning and keep going.
And you got to think about it too. There's some things that are out of our control. Can I control how many people are up there in that number? No. But can I control how long I'm live? I certainly can. So there's different mind shifts that sometimes we have to make, and just shifting and being like, okay, I can't control how many people come in this live. I can't control how many people order, but what can I control? Did I do my content that day? Did I show up? Am I here? Am I talking? Am I engaging? Whether there's anybody chatting or not, am I engaging? And just keep moving, because those are the things that you can control. And so that's another, I guess, little challenge tip too, is work on the things that you can control, because you can't control everything. The things that you can't control, it'll come when it's your time. But what can you control? What can you keep doing? If you don't know how this app works or what's going on, we got to start learning. You can search on here, over on the mermaid tube, all the places. All right. Somebody out there has been before you in this journey. And just, I think that's another, onto the challenges point, is I sat for 6 months over on the mermaid book. I think in 6 months, my sales was like $100. This was like 3 years ago before I jumped over here to this platform. 6 months, $100. I went live a couple times a week. That was when I was doing I'm going to dress up like this. Every other live, I was dressing up. I was doing the wigs. I was doing the things. It is not me, but I was like, I just need to do something. And that's when it was like, okay, I've got to shift. And all of a sudden there's TikTok. And it's like, I've got to learn this new platform. Sometimes it might be learning something new. We've all all of us, Moni and I started over on the other platform, but it was about 3 years ago that we all jumped and we came over here. We had to learn it from scratch. And I think a lot of people, just, that's one of my challenges, is just learning just something new. So I just wanted to add that in.
It's scary, right? Mm-hmm. It's scary to learn something new, especially when you feel like it's the cool kids thing, the youngins thing.
And it was like, TikTok, I'm not doing those dances. I'm not doing, what are you talking about?
Right. Yeah. But I think that's one of the biggest lessons for me, is just realizing that you can make whatever the platform is. It doesn't matter which platform it is. You can make it your little corner of the internet, right? You can make it what you're about. It doesn't have to be exactly like everybody else. Mm-hmm. And I want to just add, you guys have come up with like such great things about what can you control. Okay, what can you control? And for instance, like it's showing up when you can't, when you don't want to. I can control that, right? I can control showing up. So yesterday or the day before, I didn't feel like it. So what did I control? You know what? I threw on my pajamas. I threw on my hoodie. I showed up like a little teddy bear and I hit the live button. I said, "Hey guys, I don't feel great at all." And there's other people like, "I don't feel great either. I feel like this is a hot mess today." And it was great. We had an amazing live. We connected with the new people. Hello, Miss Jennifer. Welcome in. And if any of you guys are just joining us, my name is Moni. That's Lee. That's Stina. That's Miss Robin, Dazzling, HC Fizzer, and that's Miss Ashley. And we are all Rise Tribe. We have been doing fizzing for anywhere between 2 months all the way up to 4+ years. We have been there, done that. Together, we are stronger. We rise together. So if you've ever thought to yourself, you want to do this business and you feel that you could connect with any of us on the Rise Tribe, come on over, you guys. Get in our inboxes, chat us up. If you're on another team and you want to ask some questions, don't be shy. We are here for everybody. If anybody wants to jump in the box and you want to be a part of this, either today or another time, reach out to us, okay? Because here's the bottom line. We are all BP, okay? We are all stronger together. It doesn't really matter what is going on in your life. Connection is connection. So jump over into our inboxes. If you're ready to take a leap of faith and ask a question about the business privately or here, then do it. It's okay. It's really about just taking a leap, jumping, moving forward, and deciding that you want to know more. Okay, you want to know more. And then it goes from there. You grow from there. You want to know more. Then you're like, well, the commitment and then the time. And then all of a sudden your energy is there. And then all of a sudden you have a community and you're like, whoa, how did this flippin' happen? How did this happen? Right? I want to touch on one thing before we go. I know you guys along the way, we've talked about the bigger vision, right? The bigger vision. So there's always that thing where a new person starts and they're figuring out if they can do this, if this is right for them. And then you step into that commitment and you step into that bigger vision that keeps you coming back and keeps you hitting live. What is your bigger vision for yourself, Miss Stina? We heard from Ashley what hers is. And I can assume, Robin, if you have a bigger vision, feel to share that in the chat. Robin just started. What's yours, Miss Stina? What's your bigger vision? Let's do a 5-6 month goal from now. So we'll be at let's see, what are we in? December, pretty much, right? December, January, February, March, April, May, and June. Suddenly, conference is here. What's your bigger vision? Conference. Let's talk. What do we do in 6 months from now? What's your bigger vision?
I feel like my bigger vision would be to, like, I guess, develop my team underneath of me. So for any fizzers that know, like, Ruby has been on my radar for a very long time. And for me, when it comes to like ranking up and everything, yeah, money is nice, but that's never like what is driving me there. For me, when I think Ruby, I think that I'm available to more resources for my team to help develop them and help develop me as a person, as a business owner, and as a leader. So that's always been my desire. That is my driving force, because I know with that team title comes so many more resources for my team. And I always want to better myself for them. And when they come to me, if I don't have the answers, I'm going to go try to find it. And sometimes they find the answers before I even do. And I'm so proud of them for that. And I'm like, oh, get it. Like, that's awesome. Like, sorry, I'm a slacker, but we're so like, we're learning. So like for me, like that's definitely like my driving force is I know that if I want to develop my team, I have to show up. I have to do all the things that I'm encouraging my team to do. And I have to show them what I'm willing to put in to get there. And so like that is like I am driving towards that so that I can have those resources for my team. But besides like the titles and all of that stuff is I just want my we talk about how like our kids are watching, like Ashley said. I'm always like my son is like, he's 9 and he's always like, oh mom, are you going live? So like he keeps me accountable too. But my daughter, she's 4 and she always is pretending that she's working, and when she says she's working, it's a live. And that is like one of the like most proudest moments I could ever have, because they are watching everything that we're doing. She'll get her fake little laptop and she'll sit there and she'll set her little tablet up like it's her phone, and she's like, okay guys, this is what we're doing, I'm live right now. And she literally is just like having a conversation, and she loves to pop in on my lives, and everyone likes to see that. And the fact that like I can like work on myself and bring my family along, and I can show them that like I can do something that's fun that is also helping our family. That's like my vision, is that this takes my family to a place where we're comfortable. Like I don't have to, like Ashley says, like mansions and Marathis or whatever it's called. Like I don't
Maseratis.
Yes, exactly. I'm like that's not something that like I picture. My picture is that, you know, things are taken care of, and that I don't have to check my bank account before I go and swipe for groceries. That's what I need. I need that. I don't want to drop thousands and thousands of dollars on stuff. I just want to know that everything is taken care of, and I don't have to sit down, and I budget daily. Every single day I'm budgeting. Like my friends think I'm like crazy, but like I have to. And I want that day where I'm like, I know I don't have to check. We got this. We got, and or my kids say, oh, I want to go here with my friends. I don't have to sit and budget and be like, no, we can't do that. I can be like, yeah, let's go. Like I just want to be comfortable. That is like my big desire that I'm working towards, between like my BP desire and just like my personal desire, is I just want to be happy and comfortable. Know that everything's taken care of, not have to worry how I'm going to pay for this next bill, or how we're going to be able to go to the grocery store and get these things. Like those things that so many people are worried about. My husband just said the other day, he's like, prices of everything's going up and I'm making the same amount of money. And I said, yeah. And I'm the one that's doing something that there is no cap. Things are going up in price, I can make more money. Whereas a lot of people, like, they're set in stone. They work the same amount of hours, they get the same paycheck. I'm trying to work something with a team and a community that when things go up, okay, let's keep going live. Let's do more. And that's something that like when I get to the point where I can do that on a regular basis, everything's taken care of. That's the biggest win I could ever ask for. And there's not a lot of things in our lives that can do all of that together. Work on yourself, build a community, bring value to your life. And when things get hard, you can just work a little bit harder and make up for it. Like that right there is what I'm constantly working towards.
You can keep going. There's no cap. There's no limit. You can keep going. You can keep building it bigger. You can keep growing personally. There's not an end point. You're always going to keep going.
You almost brought me to tears. I'll be honest. Yeah, you almost brought me to tears, because my journey started with just wanting to afford $50 for groceries. Well, first I wanted to have fun. That was my first thing. I was like, man, my life is so serious. I want to have some fun. And then all of a sudden it became, wait a minute, I need $50 for groceries. And then suddenly there came a time and a moment where things always get hard. And for any of you out there, if you think that things are going to get hard, that's a lie. Okay? That's a lie. It's going to get real hard. You think it's hard now because you're just starting. You know what? Keep going, because you need to build your confidence. You need to build that strength. You need to build that mind, because it's going to get hard again at the top. Like there's always a journey up the top of the mountain. Then you go, whee! wee, and then you got to go back up the mountain.
How bad do
And
you
then
want
wee. And it just, the thing is, it takes time to learn lessons. You're supposed to be where you're supposed to be, right? So that you can get into that beautiful space where all of a sudden all this abundance comes in, right? Now, the cap situation is what really got me emotional because as a teacher, as a speech teacher, we make what we make. There's no, extra. Well, for me, because I'm an hourly. I'm not a salary.
I'm a salary, and we don't get raises.
There you go. Okay, so everyone's situation is pretty similar to that, where it is what it is, right? You get what you get, and you don't get to see it, right? You don't get to see it. But with this, it's like, well, where can I make changes? What choices can I make? Who can I connect with, right? What can I do? You're always trying to get past those excuses, like you said, where you asked Ashley, and I believe you said that when she asked you, she was like, that's just the details. She goes, those are just details, right? And it gets me really, really emotional because I remember having to do that. I remember having to be like, where's my $50 for milk, eggs, bread, like the essentials, like rice, beans, I gotta feed my family. I gotta feed myself. I gotta, budget for my lunches and all of this thing. And then like, and my space, I fizzed. I think that's one thing that happens to a lot of people when they think about this business too, is they see some of the people who've been here, even a small amount of time, they have this dedicated space, right? This beautiful dedicated space. And that happened to me in the beginning too. I was like, I don't have that. Like I have my kitchen table, I don't have this.
I started in a closet, and this is my closet, and it didn't start this pretty.
Right. And that's what gets me emotional is just knowing that it's possible to go beyond our imagination.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's possible to go beyond our imagination. It's possible to support our families in ways that we never thought possible. It's possible to now, not only can I get eggs, bread, milk, but I can afford some cheese. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
I can afford some steak. Let's go. Right? Just the tiny things. Like, I'm not talking about extravagant. I'm just talking about the tiny little things that before we would have to say, no, got to think about that. For me, I'm going to be honest, it's pH water. I have an addiction to high pH water, and it's very expensive. Like, I don't know if there's those of you who have gone out there to 9.5 pH water, but those bottles ain't cheap. They like over here, they're about $4 after tax for this bottle of water. Okay. And I could never give myself that before. And so now that's how I celebrate. I literally go to the store and I look for the highest pH and I go, that's mine. That's mine today. And I think for me, it's taking those moments, like you said, you're taking those successes. So every single time I go and I make that purchase of that water, I'm like, that's it. We're going more. I got it. Not only do I have to afford this water I just bought, I'm going to go and afford a case. I'm going to go and afford a case. Lee, I want to ask you something. Now, those of you who've been doing this a long time, I know you've had struggles. A lot of you guys, see me, I don't have the family of children. I think that's a whole other thing. Okay. When you have to balance not only your own personal self-care, but all of a sudden you have little human lives that you have to like make sure are okay. And, and then partners on top of that. But what is it that keeps you saying, okay, this is going to be a journey that I'm going to stay committed on? Let's end on that note. Let's end this live on that note. Like, what is it that has made you decide, yep, I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up. I just want to ask Lee that real quick. She has a little family over there in Florida. What's going on? And before I do that, I do want to also say Robin said that her goal in in 6 months is to build a community, connect with amazing people, and go to convention. And amen, can we have a little applause for convention?
Yes. Everyone's going to convention.
Everyone is welcome to convention.
We're going to have we're going to have Ashley on a stick. I'm going to put her head on a stick so we can walk her around.
Bacon is so expensive. Oh my God. Ashley, stop it. Are you being serious right now?
Moni, you didn't hear?
No, I know the wedding. Is this, we're talking about this wedding?
The wedding, yeah.
No, it's canceled. The wedding is canceled. Your wedding is canceled, my friend. Yeah, your brother's a meanie. Okay, we'll get there. We'll get there. Okay, fine, Miss Ashley. Fine, we'll get there. But go ahead,
Miss
zoom
Lee. Her in.
We'll zoom you in.
Yeah,
it's
we'll
fine.
Zoom her in.
It's fine. We'll give you FOMO. So Lee, just tell us, like, what is it that's going to keep you going? What is it? What's the thing?
So for me, well, let me backtrack just a little bit. I remember when, so I didn't start on Ashley's team, but I remember when I got moved over to Ashley's team because my upline left, and Ashley was talking about, we're talking about goal setting and these big goals. And I remember sitting on a call and being like, this woman's crazy. I was like, she's talking huge numbers, and I think it was only like 2,000 a month. And 2,000 a month is a big number. Okay. But, and I'm sitting here going, this was in my period of time where it was like, I'm barely getting $100 in like a couple months. You're talking about, you want me to do what? And I stuck with it. And once I kind of heard that, but then that connection piece with connecting with Moni and some of our other team members, and then networking and seeing the bigger vision of what people are doing and the inspirational stories. I remember I told you guys earlier when Sunny first started and she was working full time and she had like 40,000 in sales in 1 month. And I was like, you work full time and you did what? And I think it's just seeing the possibility, what I could do, that it's out there. It's not that it's never been done. And so seeing that really started opening my eyes to what could I do? What do I have to do to get there? Because it's possible. I just got to figure it out. So with that, I've seen the big vision. My motivation is, y'all, thank you so much. All the noises. But my motivation now is I am trying to, my husband's already retired, but he's working on job number 2 just for the fun of it. I want to start building a little bit of a foundation for myself so that I am not teaching for the next 30 years in a job that, yes, I am getting a raise this year, but that's just because the union voted for it and they contracted it out. But there is not a thing every year where my pay goes up. So I know that this is not going to sustain my family. And so my bigger vision for myself is twofold. One, it's that financial piece I'm building so that I can have that time freedom. Over the past month, I haven't advertised this a whole lot, but I went through a lot with my family. I had to take off. I can't tell you guys how many days. I had a child who was in the hospital over a week. I was dealing with that. She has doctor appointments pretty much every week from here till who knows when. And I'm dealing with that kind of stuff on the side. And I don't want to have to ask for that time off. I want to have that time back to myself. And so that's my grander piece financially. But the second piece is I want to be able to show other women that you can be the busy mom. You can be the working mom. You can do this. You can find something for yourself, because I'm doing it. I'm living it. I'm in the trenches. And despite everything going on, and I was like, man, it was the one thing after another. Maddie was in the hospital and then doing this. And then all of a sudden, this next drama piece came up. Something's always going to come up. Something always is going to be happening in our lives. Yes, the hurricanes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the hurricanes. And I'll side note, people are still recovering from hurricanes. But because my parents are actually, my dad is down in Charlotte right now doing that. But anyway, But something's always going to come up. But you've just got to have that bigger vision of what you want for your life and for your family. And I've brought my family in and I was like, okay, what do we want out of this? And I took one of my daughters last year to conference. Now the other two are like, we're going next year. And I'm like, can I really take 3 guests with me? Yes, you have to get your family on board. Hey, Mama T.
Hello.
Yeah, getting your family on board and seeing that now, like even, my son going live tonight, because they know I do the family stuff and then after dinner, it's all business. And that's what we do here in my house. But it's having that grander vision of what you want and just, it's going to roll you through those days that you're like, when it hits the fan. Yes, kids do love to help getting them to label. Well, I wouldn't label packages because they might, but I used to have, when my girls were little, put stickers on things, put stickers on the boxes because I do boxes. I had my Elizabeth stamp boxes before. I'd be like, who's the lucky person who's going to get the box that's got stamps all over it? But yeah, get them involved.
Yes. Stina, you told us your bigger vision.
Andrea,
Robin.
My little man, he saw me put glitter in the water. And the next thing I knew it looked like Tinkerbell had dusted my entire office.
Right. Thank you so much for joining us, Mama T. I know, Ashley, do you have anything you want to add as to bigger vision or anything like that?
I have a kid in college. I think that's bigger vision enough.
Right.
And that's one of my biggest things is I have 3 kids and I don't know if the other 2 will follow suit with going to college, but I don't want my kids to have college debt. That's one of the biggest things when Blake went into this journey of going to college is I made the commitment that he will not have college debt graduating because as you guys know how crippling that can be. So, that is my bigger vision through all of this. And my bigger vision is just showing more people that they can do this too. Like I'm nobody special. I say this all the time. If I can do it, I had some business experience, but from building brick and mortars, not from social media or online. So I always tell everyone I'm nobody special. If I can do this and I can get out of my comfort zone and I can show others to do it too, that's what I'm going to do. Like that's the bigger vision is to get more people on board to get out of their comfort zone and just do this because social media, it's not going anywhere. And what better way to add more income to your family than to get on social media and start monetizing it. It's great for stay-at-home moms. I use this from my experience because I was a stay-at-home mom when I started doing this. It's great. It's, as stay-at-home moms, we are doing so much and we get so lost in that. And it's a very rewarding thing. But I have conversations all the time with stay-at-home moms who are like, I wish I could go out and get a job because to bring more income or to help my spouse with stuff or to help with Christmas or back to school shopping or birthdays that come up or vacations or anything that a lot of families have to make sacrifices for because they are living on one income. And it's like, this is the thing that I built in my basement while my kids were sleeping and my husband was working 50, 60 hours a week managing a Domino's pizza. I built this in my business or in my basement. I didn't have to rely on a babysitter. I didn't have to try to figure out who was going to watch my kids because before I was a stay-at-home mom, I was serving. And every night when I went to go serving, I knew my first $30 to $40 I made, no matter how much money I made that night, was going to the babysitter. So it didn't matter if I made $50 that night serving, guess what? 40 was going to my babysitter. And the other 10 was probably going to put gas in my car so I could get to work the next day. And it was a very toxic cycle. So that's just the bigger vision is just empowering more moms to bring in more of an income from home and to know that they can have something outside of being a mom. I know it's isolating at times, like you can have adult conversation, you can build community, you can build friendships here, right? With the power of social media. There's so much there. Social media can be a toxic environment, but social media can also be what you build it to be. And social media can also be a place of connection. I say all the time, I would have like no friends if I didn't have social media or if I didn't have this business. I mean, look at all of us. I'm in Michigan, Leanne's in Florida, Moni is in California, Stina's in Montana. I don't know where Robin is. Where's Robin at? What
I
state
think
does she live in?
Oklahoma. Oh no, did she just moved to Florida? No, Oklahoma. I'm pretty sure.
Oklahoma. I mean, we have team members and customers that are in Hawaii and Alaska. Like, we are all over the U.S. and it's so fun that if any of us wanted to travel anywhere, I could say I'm coming to California. Moni would be like, all right, I guess you're coming to stay with me. You know what I mean? Like, we could really travel anywhere and have a place to go. And I mean, not even only for me, but I mean, even my daughter like loves and adores our team. They have accepted her. She's been to 2 events, and our team has, even people not on our team, have loved and accepted Alexis, and they've connected with Alexis, and now she comes into everybody's lives, and she's built a great relationship with Moni. Her and Moni get on phone calls, and Alexis gets on Moni's lives, and like they've built a great relationship with each other. So it's not even just about us. I think it's great that you can have mom and daughter teams, like Mama T and her daughter Katie. They are 2 of my favorite people outside of everyone on our team. Mama T and Katie, I love them. They're a mom and daughter team, and they get to travel together, and they get to go to conventions and do business stuff together. It really is something that you can think outside of the box. And if you want something fun to do with your mom or a sister or a friend or a daughter, like, this is so fun to do as a team with somebody too. And I mean, how great is it? We, like Megan and her mom, Mama Bev, they get to travel and do this business together. Leanne has brought her daughter to convention. My daughter's come. Like, this is the one business where it can be like your whole family involved. And I think that that's so awesome that we can do that.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the biggest blessings that I've learned so far in this, is that we get to make relationships all across the United States, and we get to involve our families in our successes, and they can see that it's okay if we have moments of failure because they see us pick ourselves back up. Right. So that's also like another amazing journey about this. And for myself, I think Robin said her bigger vision for 6 months was to get to convention, which I love that. For me, I think I started this bigger vision at the beginning of the year, and I'm going to continue with it. And I came to tears this past week over it. Mine is just to be of service. I said that last convention, and I'm going to keep going with that. It's just to be of service to this community of fizzers, period, and a story. Not just our Rise Tribe, but just in general. I feel like there is not enough. There's always room for kindness. There's always room for love. There's always room for connection and joy. And why not share that and be of service? And I told myself that in 6 months, so from now to 6 months, I would like to touch the lives of 10 people, of at least 10 people, and help them build this for themselves. If they want this business, to help them build this business for themselves. And as of right now, I don't even know. I think we're 6 people deep right now in that 10 goal. And I'm so excited for that. And I want to reach that goal of affecting 10 lives where they build that confidence, they feel that growth, they feel that connection. And that's all I want. I just want others to know that they're worthy also, that they're worthy of trying and failing and succeeding and growing, and that it's okay, and that they can find that here or anywhere as long as they say yes to the journey. As long as they say yes to the journey. If you guys have enjoyed this beautiful session, we are the Rise Tribe, as well as the Boss Girl community, as well as the Homestead community. We are all part of BP. We are so grateful that you're here, that you chose to take a moment to stay with us. If you have questions, just reach out to us. If you want to join our box, if you want to get in on the conversation, I don't care if you're on the Rise Tribe, if you're not on the Rise Tribe, but if you're like, I love this, and I want to connect as well, all you got to do is say yes. We will let you in on our box. We are happy to ask you some questions. Lee, do you have anything to add? Stina, Ash, Robin, anybody before we end our session?
I just want to say that like our team is really showing like just how big the community is, and that it's like you are not alone. So many people don't realize how many resources that we have to grow a business. And it's so much more than just like what's in a back office and what a company provides you. It's what everyone, whether it's your mentor or the people on the big team or your little team or whatever it might be, everyone comes together, especially like our Rise Tribe. But BP is one big community. And that's what, when people are like, I don't know if I can do it, you have people there to show you that you can and to support you through it. Even when you feel like you're just somebody, like I'm just this normal person, like you have value to bring, that not only are you going to come to people that are going to help you, but you're going to end up helping people along the way. And it's like the most rewarding thing in the world.
Yes, yes, yes. I was going to say, connect, reach out. That's, if you've got questions, you know, it's okay to be like, if any one of us here, and to be like, hey, I got a question, because our bigger team, that's what I love, is that community piece. And so if you guys are not on the Rise Up to Rank Up, when it opens again, make sure you're ready to take that leap, to take the next level to your business. Ashley does have a mastermind within our group that where we take it to the next level. But reach out to your mentor if you're like, I need to connect with somebody. Moni and I started, she talked earlier, she was like, I just put out an APB and was like, I need someone to connect with. And I did not feel like I was worthy, because I was like, I'm a teacher, I got 4 kids, but I work this business as much as I can. If you want me, you got me. And
I said, yes, please.
Here we are. We've been doing this since we started on TikTok, right? 3 years?
Almost about 3 years. Yeah.
Almost 3 years this spring. And we've realized that we're better together. We all have our strengths. And if we pull our strengths together, then yes. If you need a business bestie, absolutely reach out into the team group. Absolutely.
100%. Just don't give up on yourselves. You guys, don't give up on yourselves. Don't give up on your journey. Don't give up before the miracle happens. And we're so happy that you were able to join us. This is going to be a regular thing. We are going to come back at another time, maybe with the same guests, maybe with more guests, maybe. We'll see. It's a new journey. It's new possibilities on the horizon. Thank you, Miss Stina. Thank you, Andrea. Yes. Thank you, Miss Robin Dazzling HD Fizz. And thank you, my beautiful Ashley from Rise Tribe. And thank you, my Lee and Mermaid Kisses Jewelry. This is Moni from Trinket Bless. And we say good night.
Good night, guys. Thank you, guys.